Hello, this is Voss with Senior Healthcare Solutions AZ, SCH, SHCSAZ.com. Today with my partner in crime, Rob Moore, helping me out today. We're going live with Josh Buchanan and Noble Hospice. But before we do that, I just want to give a quick note to the group. Thank you, everybody, for being part of this. We are at 3,660 members now. We are just growing phenomenally. Everyone just bring your friends and family in the senior healthcare industry and community so we can all work together for the greater good. We are actually getting about 1,500 views per post. Time you put something in there, about 1,500 people are seeing it, so someone will be able to help you with what you're looking for. And you know, we're very active. There's a lot of posts and comments and likes and shares, and everyone's working together. So thank you for that, and let's keep up the good work. All right, let's go to Josh on this. Rob's going to start us out.
Well, first, let's let Josh introduce himself a little bit and give us an overview on Noble Hospice and Palliative Care, and then I'll start us off. We got some questions for you. I'll give you the first one, but go ahead and introduce yourself, Josh, and let us know what you're about.
Sure. So my name is Josh Buchanan. I've been in the healthcare industry out here in the Arizona marketplace for about 12 or 13 years now. Been very fortunate to see a lot of changes in our industry as far as breaking into the industry, marketing durable medical equipment, then getting into the healthcare sector into the medical home health sector for about 8 years before finding my what I kind of call true passion after I've landed in this industry, and that's hospice care. So I founded Noble Hospice along with a business partner named Corey Donalon. We officially opened up Noble Hospice Care and got licensed in January of this year. So a relatively new hospice company itself. However, we've really been fortunate in bringing together an incredibly large group of talented, seasoned healthcare professionals with Noble Hospice. And we're doing some really incredible things. We're really kind of coming to market in the middle of a pandemic, which is kind of an odd time to be starting a new business, as we all know. But we've been very fortunate as far as being able to start this hospice agency up and really be pretty successful in a short period of time. And we're just looking to continue to do what we're doing right now to build up the industry.
That's great. Let me ask you this. I'll give you this question off the bat, just because it's kind of curious. Operating assisted living home, I know you're in a very competitive environment. There's a lot of hospices in Arizona. What made you do that in this environment when we have so many options?
Sure. So, when I take a look at hospice and really, I like I said, I really feel like hospice has been my calling. You just get that feeling, that vibe when you get in the right industry that, hey, this is what I meant to do. This is where I'm meant to make a difference. But what I've always seen in healthcare overall for our industry is there's a lot of phenomenal companies. And I think every company out there, if they're in healthcare, they're doing something incredible for these people. But what I've always seen in healthcare is you see a lot of really large, corporate companies who are trying to cookie cut hospice approach across the country. And then you see a lot of small mom and pops, and a lot of those guys open the doors, close their doors pretty fluently throughout the times. So, I saw hospice as being an industry where when I was ready to finally kind of carve my own path out, it was the right choice for me. Just because in my viewpoint, there's a lot of room for a company like ourselves who are eager to come out and make a difference and really kind of put healthcare back on the focus of the patients rather than all this statistical data that's going based off of, okay, how much less care can we provide for more money under Medicare? So I really saw a huge ability to come out and make a difference as a company really quickly by creating innovative practices in our segment. In which our segment's been pretty much ran almost identically in the last decade plus, where there really hasn't been a tremendous amount of innovation and changes in this marketplace.
So speaking about all those things, what makes you different? What separates you from the rest of the other hospices?
Yeah, you bet. So the thing that we really found out with Noble Hospice is there's been a couple key things missing in this industry. Number one, communication. When you go on to Hospice Compare, you'll see one of the number one, poorly ranked categories, which is a shame because we're in the most, sensitive times of not only the patient, but the family. But one of the number one things that you're seeing missing in this marketplace is family members feeling like they're educated upon what's going on with their moms or dads or grandmas or grandpas. A lot of these people feel disconnected on what's happening as these patients are transitioning. So what we've really done under Noble Hospice is our communication process with the family members are always spot on. We're usually reaching out to them 2 or 3 times a week, and same with our referral partners, our communities. And the big difference being is they actually feel like they're part of their mom or dad's care, their grandma and grandpa's care now. And it's something that's needed to be done for quite some time, because as they transition and as they're going through these different things, there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of anxiety, not only for the patient, but the families. So we're definitely starting the grieving process and the bereavement process, way ahead of the game before patients transition. We have an incredible director of social services that started with me since day one, who really helped us get into line some of these programs, is making sure that we're providing all the resources for family members up front, that we're truly educating patients up front. And then the other thing that we've really done under Noble Hospice, which I think a lot of our referral partners have truly appreciated, is we've started infusing a lot of this sensory approach into hospice care. So, myself and Allie, my director of marketing, we both became dementia care certified under the Brian Brown Dementia Care Educators Program. Phenomenal person to learn a variety of different information about how these dementia patients operate. And one of the big components was sensory. And it was interesting because when we started looking into hospice, there really hasn't been a focus on sensory whatsoever. And we take a look at what our generation would expect for our moms and dads or grandmas and grandpas, right? And it's okay, we aren't really tailoring anything to fit their needs. So what we've done as an agency is we've actually infused and we've offered as part of our care plan for every one of our patients, throw pillows with fringe knots on the bottom of them. So that pillows, especially for anxiety patients, dementia patients, Alzheimer's patients, they actually have things to be messing around with, to filling, so they calms their anxiety down. And then we've done 2 other really cool things. Every one of our patients, and of course we make sure that they don't have allergies accordingly, but every one of our patients is offered a diffuser as well. We borrow them out to our patients. We provide essential oils to patients. So we provide the lavenders, we provide the mints, we provide the lemons to help out with anxiety and to really just kind of create a calming effect. And then our last thing that we really do is I've lost that thought on that, but the throw pillows and the essential oils, the music, that's what I was going to get to as well. So a lot of our diffusers will have the Bluetooth stereos on them as well. So when family members or our caregivers are going in and treating these patients, they're bathing them, they're showering them, they're doing whatever they need, they're able to play the Bluetooth music on the radios. That way they're able to calm the patients down. It's just one of the really big things that we've seen with a lot of our Alzheimer's dementia patients that are combative. It's been a game changer for us.
That's pretty innovative stuff. So I know you've come online recently. You said you were kind of new to the industry, at least as your hospice company, and you've probably kind of had to react rather quickly as a new organization to what's been going on with COVID. What's that experience been like for you?
So the thing with our company is we've been blessed. Our ADON, Assistant Director of Nursing, she came from her previous line where she was an infectious disease educator. So she joined us in February, and we couldn't have asked for a better timing as far as constructing policies and procedures to protect both ourselves and our staff and our patients. But really, what we've seen in a lot of the different companies across the valley is, they're starting to say, okay, well, we can't really provide our normal frequencies for staff or for patients, right? So we're taking off CNA visits, we're taking off nursing visits, we're moving more towards the virtual visits and things like that.
Telemedicine. Yeah.
It's telemedicine. And I think it's a phenomenal tool. I really do in a lot of healthcare settings. You know, in my belief and in my team's belief, though, that the trick is this, going back to hospice is one of the most sensitive, most, you know, you got one chance to get it right levels of a patient's life. And when you start to infuse telemedicine, where we're doing visits like this through the screen for a patient, it just doesn't do them justice. It doesn't provide them that touch, right? The human touch that's so crucial for a patient at the end of their lives. So, you know, we've seen a lot of changes, you know, all across the board from the industry perspective for hospice. And it's been a really interesting change across all lines from what I've seen.
Have you seen many changes in like referral partners, or, you know, that refer to you? And, you know, since the COVID hit, you know, what's going on with that one?
Sure. So, you know, from a referral partner standpoint, what we've really seen is everything rolls downhill, right? So at the hospitals, and a lot of the hospitals have been pretty full on COVID cases. They've been calming down on the electives. They've been trying to push a lot of the patients out sooner than not. But the SNFs have all been a lot slower as a result. And when the SNFs are slower, the assisted living buildings are slower. So it's definitely created that snowball effect in our industry overall from a hospice perspective. If SNFs and assisted living buildings don't have the patient population, which they currently don't, then it has been a little bit more challenging. The other thing that we've seen is you know, justifiably so, you know, an assisted living building has one outbreak of COVID, it spreads pretty rapidly throughout the community.
Right.
That referral trend and their automatic, you know, way of handling things is, okay, well, we're going to put a pause on all referral partners coming into our communities. That includes hospice, that includes home health, that includes everybody. You know, we're going to really start to limit our exposure, which is understandable. So we've definitely seen a large referral drop in that category, because in addition to their patients being exposed, their caregivers are massively exposed. So the one thing that we're trying to do as an agency, right, is really reinforce, you know, we have the CNA staff, we have all the PPE. I've got my team incredibly stocked up on PPE, so we minimize exposure at all costs. And studies indicate that our healthcare workers are more, you know, less likely to get COVID as long as they're following PPE protocols as you would pretty much going out into the grocery store, interacting with people. So we've really seen that, you know, as long as we're able to supply all of our clinicians with PPE, we're there to be a resource for our communities. And we're hoping that people start to utilize hospice, home health as a larger resource again in the near future, understanding that as long as we follow PPE protocols, we're there to be an asset. We're not there to be, you know, an exposure risk for them anymore.
Good stuff.
Right.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah. It's been an interesting time, I think, for everybody, guys. I mean, it's the COVID crisis has hit us all from a business standpoint, but it's also limited our interactions with our clients. You know, from a marketing perspective, our entire industry shifted overnight, as we all know. We don't get to go out and have the one-on-one relationships with people anymore, which is rather a shame, because I think most of us feed off that human interaction and that ability to help people. And it's definitely been a challenge.
Real quick, because of, you know, COVID and getting out there, what's your, you know, like, what did the marketers kind of do to keep the name out and be able to get out there? Are they allowed out into facilities?
Sure.
Are they, you know, is there something different going on?
So most facilities are still pretty much on 100% lockdown from a marketing perspective, right? They're only allowing essential healthcare workers in there. But I'll tell you right now, I mean, this is why right now is more of an important time than ever. It's a relationship-driven game. You know, the way that our company's been able to grow is we gather, like I mentioned, seasoned healthcare professionals. But if you don't have those relationships and you don't have the contacts out in the industry to say, hey, you know, I'm going to drop off some more information for you. Can you meet me outside the front door? I know I'm not allowed in your building, but meet me outside the front door if you have an opportunity. If you don't have that ability to pick up the phone and text somebody, call somebody to have that type of rapport, I would hate to be a healthcare marketing rep in this industry right now, because most of my reps are obviously doing video conferencing like this. They're doing emails, they're doing texts, they're doing blasts. And it's unfortunate because, you know, unless you have people that are responsive, you're not able to get your name out. You're not able to get your reputation out. So, I mean, we're definitely launching more Google campaigns. We're launching more, you know, e-marketing campaigns like that. But really what we're depending on more now than ever is word of mouth, success stories from our previous patients and family members, not patients, but family members, to spread the word of who we are as a company and our mission.
Yeah, that's great. It's good to know because, you know, that marketing is a big aspect to any business, and everything is changing right now. So just kind of keeping up on what's going, what's available, how you can get your name out there and just be able to help more people.
It's a tough proposition for sure. I mean, we have to adapt and, you know, meet the needs of the challenge to beat this thing. And we need to maintain business viability. And we still want to provide that personal touch, no matter what our industry is, and not forego that. So it's a tough balancing act. I definitely appreciate what you're saying. I'll throw one thing out there. I don't know if, how long you've been in the group, but we're working with Ben Friedman on Senior Service Expo. It's an event that he's kind of in the planning stages for now. That's going to happen this fall. So that's something for people like yourselves to consider to kind of complement and maybe offset some of the personal connection you're not able to you know, continue with in the environment. Hopefully you can throw that out there and explore that a little bit. It's a pretty good guy, you know, launching an event that we're supporting. But yeah, it's a tough proposition for sure.
Yeah, it's an industry, like we said. I think that everybody in our you know, our cities and all that are saying, oh, you're in healthcare, you're so lucky right now. You guys got to be doing so well. And I mean, we, like I said, knock on wood, we've been fortunate as a company to really build it during this pandemic. And we have really only had, you know, maybe a couple COVID positive cases. But the industry's changed. The referrals are not there right now. I know some medical home healthcare companies are down 50% plus right now. And it's, you know, just because COVID is a healthcare focused, you know, disease and pandemic doesn't mean that our businesses are doing any better than they were prior, because as we mentioned, most patients aren't making it out of the hospital. If they're passing on COVID, if they're, you know, passing away, most of these guys are passing away in the hospitals. And then if not there, they're passing away in SNF settings. And even exposure, you know, we're doing everything that we possibly can. All my staff is wearing full PPE in every setting now, because what we've noticed is, you know, all people that have ever been exposed, even on my team that have been exposed to COVID, they've all been exposed to COVID in cases which these patients were known to be positive. They were way before they started experiencing symptoms.
Right.
And afterwards, we find out, hey, you've exposed our staff. And, you know, so we're trying to do everything we can as a group to get our need. But overall, saying as long as we wear proper PPE, and that's what we're doing on every single visit now, every single setting, we should be fine as a healthcare company to get back to normal. It won't get back to normal for marketing, but we're hoping we'll at least get back to normal under providing the services, because these patients need them more now than ever.
Yeah, I think that's a good approach. I think if you can pull that off, that's fantastic. Get everybody, you know, assume everybody's positive to get maximum protection.
Absolutely.
So, you know, you threw out some interesting stuff on the therapeutics and the fidget gadgets and some exciting stuff on the essential oils. So for someone that wants to know more about your business, why don't you go ahead and give us your contact information, your web presence, and so people can get in touch with you.
Sure. So our web address is www.noblehpc.com. Our main office line, 480-868-2845. That's our intake line as our main office. Call that anytime. Most likely it'll be myself or one of my directors picking it up. So we'd love to chat with you guys. If anybody has any requests for information, we got digital we can send you. You can always email me directly. It's J Buchanan, Buchanan, at noblehpc.com. Love to get you guys some information and keep spreading what we're about.
Outstanding.
Excellent. Thank you.
Gentlemen, I appreciate it.
It's a pleasure to meet you,
Yeah,
Joshua.
Likewise.
Yeah. Yep. Thanks for coming on today and being part of the show and letting everybody know a little bit about what you do and, you know, getting the word out and offering another resource for everybody to be able to utilize.
Thank you.
If
Thank you
anybody
guys
else
for
would
doing
like to
this.
be on our show, just send me and Rob a message or the pinned post at the very top of the newsfeed in Senior Healthcare Solutions. You can go to there and sign up for a date in the future to be on here with us and to let us know what you do. We want to try to get everybody involved and everybody on the show so we can, you know, meet everybody and get to know people. We also, when you come on the show, we will put your information on our website, SHCSAZ.com. It's our organization we are currently putting together. And one of the next steps on that is we're putting together a leadership board. That there'll be information coming up on that one in the next week. But we're doing pretty good. We're coming along and we got a lot of things going. So you all have a great day, and thank you again, Josh, for coming on. Thanks, Rob, for co-hosting with me, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Thanks, Jocelyn.